Hey everybody, this video has to do with digital cable service, and I'm going to explain one of the very common problems you'll have with digital cable from, like, let's say Time Warner Cable, Comcast, or whoever. This has to do with Time Warner Cable, at least in this video. That's who the provider is. And basically what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at the web access on my Seat Infinity TV4 TV tuner card, which is in the computer there. And the way this tuner works is it's actually a standalone network device that is bridged with inside the computer over a network bridge within Windows. So every computer on the network can access it for tuners and that kind of stuff. The tuner card even has its own IP address, which is 192.168.1.112, at least in this setup. And in Device Manager in Windows, it's not actually under audio, video, and game devices. It's under network devices. So anyways, back to the point here. I'm in the control panel here so you can see the signal quality. That's one of the biggest problems with cable service, or at least digital cable, is poor signal. And I've had this problem for quite a while, but it finally got fixed, and I'll explain how it was fixed. So right now, let me click over to tuner 3, which is in use. On cable card tuners like this, you only have downstream, which currently the signal level is minus 0.5. It goes between minus 0.5 to 1.2 to 2 sometimes. Positive 2, which that's very good. Before this fix was applied, it used to be negative 7.5 to negative 10, and when the signal was that low, we'd have a lot of pixelation, and sometimes the channels wouldn't even work because of poor signal. And it's currently playing on channel 1500, which is ESPN, and that's a non-switched video channel. So some channels use the tuning adapter to access, but this particular channel just goes straight to the tuner card. And like many cable card devices, the Seat Infinity TV4 and let's see, this Cisco STA1520 tuning adapter are very sensitive to poor signal. And one common reason they may run into problems with signal issues is because if you look down, basically the Seat device requires you to actually split your cable between the tuning adapter and the Seat device. While let's say for the TiVo, you just have one cable going into one side of the tuning adapter, and the other cable goes on the cable out of the tuning adapter into the cable card device, which is your TiVo. But in this case, like I mentioned with this Seat device, it splits. And anytime you have a split in your cable, it can hurt your signal quality. So this is the Infinity TV interface. Now I'm going to show you the modem. My mom and dad actually have Time Warner's digital phone because they're in a bundled contract thing, which they can't easily get out of. Normally I'd recommend they get Mad Jack Plus, but seeing they're locked into the contract, they have to use what they have, which they've had their Time Warner's digital phone for many years, so that's why they haven't switched. Anyways, this is the Air's touch-tone telephoning modem. Not a bad modem. It actually has 2 telephone outputs on it for 2 separate telephone lines, and not a bad modem for what it is. It's pretty big though. I like to call it the big. I actually have a nickname for it. I call it the Time Warner Cable piece of equipment. But you also find this with Comcast too, and probably Charter and the others. They pretty much use all the same equipment, it seems like. But anyways, since this is a modem, it's a two-way device. Kind of like a set-top box is, a digital set-top box. You have your downstream and your upstream. The downstream is currently at 6. The upstream is currently at 41. Before this fix was applied, this was at like -4 or something like that. I think -4, and this is at 58. The maximum recommended would be 53 on the upstream. And back to the Infinity TV. The maximum, I guess the maximum load you'd ever want to see on this would probably be -4. Because when it starts getting down to like -6 and -7, you start having problems. Anyways, now I'm going to explain what Time Warner has done to fix this problem. In the floor, you see a brand new looking splitter thing. That's actually not a splitter, that is a amplifier power input. Now you're thinking they just installed an amplifier. That's not exactly the case. It does have a plug-in. It's over there on the wall. And there is where it bridges in with the cable line. Now I'm going to step into the living room and show you the set-top box. Okay, here's a look at the set-top box. Down there is the Windows Media Center computer, the Cube Computer Company TV box. That's currently what is in service right now. That's actually what's hooked to the TV. Well, they're both hooked to the TV, but that's actually what is selected for the input. Currently I have the set-top box sitting here as a spare, and since my dad's contract with Time Warner requires the set-top box, we might as well use it for something. It's a Cisco 4742 HTC. And what's funny is there's a technology in this set-top box that's not even being used by Time Warner Cable. It has an Ethernet output on it to where you can actually stream TV to other devices on your home network. But like I mentioned, that Ethernet adapter is currently dead. It's on the back of the box. There's the Ethernet input. One time I decided to plug in an Ethernet cable to see what would happen, and nothing happened. There was nothing displayed on the network, nothing displayed in the router for this thing. So that Ethernet port is actually dead. But the strange thing about this box is when we had the signal problems with the seating device, the box was able to overcome that and still get a good signal with no pixelation in the TV service. Very surprising, but true. Now I'm going to show you the modem. It's sitting on top of the Mid-Tower Lux Black Max. And on top of that is my wireless router with, it's a Linksys WRT 54G. Pretty old router, but it has DDWRT to unlock its full potential. I'm thinking about getting a wireless in router pretty soon. Below that is a D-Link DGS 228. So 2208 to understand it better. It's a gigabit switch. This way I can have gigabit LAN without replacing the router. And below that is a big Time Warner Cable piece of equipment, also known as the AIRS touch-tone telephoning modem. Now I'm going to show you the other part of the fix. Temporarily turn this air conditioner up so it don't come on while I'm out there shooting video. Let's walk outside. Now, this is not the first time or second or the third time Time Warner Cable has come out due to signal problems to try to fix things. And it seems like past technicians have done nothing more than just band-aided the problem rather than actually fixed it. And a while back, well actually over a year or so ago, I made a video about Time Warner Cable's big mishap, where neighbors behind us had internet service installed, and the contractor who buried the cable cut our line in the process. So they had to run new cable out here, and this cable has not been buried yet. And the reason is because my dad has not called in yet, because he wants to move that trailer there before he has his line buried, and some other reasons. So that's why we still have what I call overhead cable service. It's currently just laying on the ground right now, but if I go to cut the grass, I have to hang the cable up in a tree and everything. It looks kind of crazy. But here I can't actually show you what happened. Have a look at this. The technician used a zip tie as the key lock. If I wanted to, I could actually open this up, because I have zip ties that look just like that. So I'm not actually going to open it, but basically what the Time Warner technician did was replace the existing equipment in here with what's called an equalizer. It's not an amplifier, it's an equalizer. Basically what it does is it equalizes every single cable output to have a very good quality signal. And like I mentioned, we used to have issues with the signal quality being, like let's say on the downstream on the cable card device, being all the way down to like -10. Now you saw it's like -0.5, and it usually hangs around -0.5 to +2. So much better numbers. We have not had any problems with the service ever since. The technician also found some bad cable ends in here, really short, and I'll show you something else. We'll follow this cable line. This yard is still sopping wet. We had, I'd say, about 3 or 4 inches of rain within the past week. One day in the month of June, we actually had enough rain to amount to the monthly average in just one day. So it's sopping wet out here. Here's a cable line. Runs back behind the fence and up through here. Now let me show you something. Something else a Time Warner technician did. As I mentioned, when the neighbor behind us had internet service installed, the contractor had to bury a cable from here over to the house. And when they did that, I wouldn't think I was even home, because they actually cut our line, which runs through here. Well, actually runs somewhere down through and under the building, the original cable line that went to the house. But the most recent technician replaced this end. No, actually it was this end here. Replaced this end here with a brand new one. That helped solve some problems. And this here is our old cable line. That's the one that got cut. This is the one that goes to the neighbor behind us. Neighbor over here has DirecTV and no internet service. He only has a computer. Anyways, there's a service pole. Here's where the cable goes up into that little junction box. Goes down there. And it more or less intersects with that line that goes down through the neighborhood. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all. So basically, that's what the most recent Time Warner technician did to solve our problems. So if you're having issues with your cable service to where it's pixelating real bad, you're getting poor internet bandwidth, you might want to definitely consider checking that out. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me.